Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Here we are. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, Robert.
Yeah,
and nice to see you, Christian, as well.
Nice to see you.
Can you hear us okay?
We can hear you fine, yeah.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
So,
I was just
introducing.
Yeah, go, Johnny.
Yeah, I was just introducing the Grand Sport Tourbillon Golden Brown. I was just pointing out that whenever we attend any of the watch exhibitions, the watch shows, it's always a highlight to make sure that we never miss our visit to Laurent Ferrier. And when in regard to the watches themselves, just there is, as I said, I'm repeating myself for people who've already heard, but there is there's an aesthetic purity to Laurent Ferrier designs that belies the complexity of the technical complexity and the level of finishing that goes into every component with every piece. And it's just it is amazing, fantastic to see that over the last 12 years, I think, how Laurent Ferrier has become has one of the most prestigious brands in the independent watchmaking sector.
Thanks,
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny, and thanks, Robert. Thank you, Christian, once again. It's great to introduce you to our audience. Robert, you already have a familiar face. Christian, for the first time on our platform. Again, thanks for the time. I know it's an important day today, and I can only imagine how busy you must be. Johnny was making reference to the 12 years of history of Laurent Ferrier as a company this year. Christian, have you been involved since the beginning, and what is your involvement now? To which level and at what level?
Donc ce que je veux, ouais.
Well, basically, I mean, Christian has been here since the start. So basically, Laurent left Patek Philippe when he was 63 to embark on this venture. And one of Laurent's kind of prerequisites or conditions for starting all this up was that Christian would be alongside him to get the project going. So Christian had a very technical background, worked for many brands, including Roger Dubuis in the past, very much on the movement side, and that's what he started out doing here. So kind of like his father doing the aesthetics and really the design elements, and Christian much more on the movement and the construction side of things. But today, Christian is our head of product. So basically, all these years alongside his father, he's learnt about all the different aesthetic techniques that he uses. And so Christian really is the guy that brings it all together, the technical side and the aesthetic side, to make the watches that you see today.
Wow!
How of an important day it is today, Christian, and do you feel a bit like an artist when you release to the world the fruit of your creation, researches, development, and hours that you put in every creation?
Yeah, it's very special because it's when you work on the product, on creation, you don't think about the world and the people and the collectors. So it's another world, and of course. We start a few years ago, but it's still incredible. This part of the brand, of the product. I'm talking about, of course, all the collector, and this is just fantastic. The passion, because we can find exactly the same passion, the attention of details, design. The main design of the product, and the line, the size of the brand, because this is small brand, but we can do a lot of things inside a small brand like Laurent Ferrier. So it's just incredible, and yes, for myself and all the team, this is just fantastic to can do timepiece like that because this is a small production, but we can touch a lot of people around the world. This is incredible.
That's,
You're certainly doing that. And Johnny, when we talk about Laurent Ferrier, there are probably a couple of defining moments for Laurent Ferrier as a brand. The GPHG 2010, when they win the award with the classic tourbillon for the best men's watch. Correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously the launch of the Grand Sport tourbillon that established really Laurent Ferrier as not just a classic watchmaker, but a watchmaker that can also can also work amazingly with sporty looks, still yet maintaining that amazing mechanical complexity and delicious finishing they become famous for. Johnny, and if you want then to pass also the word to Christian to have his point of view, how defining do you think this new launch of the new Golden Brown Grand Sport tourbillon may be, seeing that they seem to have been able to improve on what was already an iconic and legendary collection, which was the initial Grand Sport tourbillon?
I think what Christian and his family, his dad, company, and have done, they have penetrated a hugely hotly contested sector, which is this luxury sports watch. And I don't know whether it seems to have come in above all the competition, if you like, and there are some very prestigious brands and names there, and to actually come in and to be courageous enough to say, okay, that these brands are the perceived benchmark for quality, for desirability. We're going to come in above that and considerably above that, and I think it has been a terrific success. In my opinion, everybody who collects watches is aware of for example, the Sport Auto, which has been one of the most in-demand watches of the last 2 or 3 years. I think, guys, if we're not very mistaken, orders are now backed up into 2028, possibly even beyond that now at this stage. So they
will never comment on that, Johnny. It's a good try, but they will never comment on that.
Edit me out of this. Edit me out of this.
You give us a no. So for Christian, in what you think the new Grand Sport tourbillon is better, if we can say that, than the previous version, or where is the evolution? For me, I'm looking very carefully at the finishing. There seems to be some kind of different interpretations of the finishing.
Donc là, si j'ai bien compris.
Quelle est l'évolution par rapport à la pièce en acier, les améliorations, surtout en termes de terminaison et puis,
mais pas classique, la version acier.
La version de 2019.
De 2019,
ouais.
Du calibre.
Au calibre ou la boîte, si moi je peux parler de l'habillage.
No, we have not big difference, but of course the first one was the Tourbillon Grand Sport with the brown dial, a different brown, of course. But after we work on the smallest version with the Sport Auto, and my father take the change of this new model to to adjust just small lines. But the conception is different because of the automatic version of the Sport Auto, and the Tourbillon Grand Sport is a manual winding. So just about the crown and la technique d'étanchéité.
The waterproof for the water resistance.
The conception is different. It's of course better on the Sport Auto version because you have a
screw down crown.
Yes, and this is with we call that bio-ring. This is the same conception as a Nautilus, for example, but it is a great waterproof. But of course, you need to wind your watch with the tourbillon every day without push, not push, but pull your crown. So this is the big difference, and the line of the case are just different of the first version of the Tourbillon Grand Sport. It's exactly the same angle and line of the Sport.
And the sports side to it is not just a reference to obviously your father's background as a driver, but actually we are talking about a sports watch in because of the inner characteristics you've just explained, but also from the movement perspective, where counterintuitively a tourbillon will never be a sports watch, but of course with your solution, your technical solution with a double reverse balance spring, you're given a certain level of accuracy and a certain kind of structure to the movement and make it apt also for sportive use.
Pour le choix, enfin, on voit pas beaucoup de tourbillons dans des montres sport. No, the first reason was the fiability, availability.
The robustness.
Reliability, yeah.
Yeah.
Reliability, yes. And the precision. The precision is it's as we're talking about precision, like sports car on the track. You play with the time of the performance of your car. It's the same, but the reliability is very is excellent, especially with the conception of a tourbillon. The tourbillon is quite simple. All the technology is inside the cage of the tourbillon, and this cage and with the double air spring are great about reliability. Yes, with experiences we can see a lot of crash.
So we test them extensively, and they're very, very resistant.
The cage, the tourbillon double air spring inside our caliber is just excellent after crash. It keeps the same regulation performance, and it's because of all the conception, of course, but especially for the chronometrical part, the double air spring are just perfect.
Yeah, we have very, very few returns. I mean, the Tourbillon is one of the watches that hardly ever comes back. It's quite phenomenal how reliable it really is. And
it begs the question, just what you're talking about at the minute, about testing them. How do you go about testing? What kind of forces do you subject the movement or the tourbillon to when you're testing it? Do you drop it from a table? Do you drop it from 4 centimeters, 10 centimeters, or how do you do that?
It's an external laboratory called the Laboratoire du Bois that do the testing for us. So basically, they're experts and they simulate the conditions to do the testing. And they drop it, they smack it, they spin it around, they subject it to different kind of numbers. I don't know what those are. I mean,
the best experiences are from collectors, because sometimes a crash, it's possible, a big crash, and we need to work on the case, but the caliber is still the same.
Wow!
No, I promise you, a few times, maybe 4 or 5 tourbillons are coming back after a crash, and yes, the case was just destroyed, completely destroyed, and the caliber inside, of course, is protect inside, but we need to. We think this is just big work for watchmaker to repair the caliber, the caliber and the regulation still the same. Still the same.
That's fascinating. That is
No,
fascinating.
because in the conception, this is the part between the case and the caliber qui prend tout le choc.
That absorbs all the
absorbs
shocks.
all the shocks.
Yeah.
And that's yes.
It's a fascinating insight, Pietro. I think to know the durability of the watches. Not only are they, haute complication, if you call it, or haute or luxury, but how robust they are. It kind of says it is a full blown sports watch. If you can go out and you can, actually hit the watch sufficiently hard enough to damage the case, and yet the internal mechanism is still sound. That's excellent, amazing.
I think also, Christian and Laurent, their mantra and their objective is really that to wear watches that people can wear every day. It's the idea is that the watches don't sleep in people's safes; that they're on the wrist, they're being worn. And so the watches are designed with that in mind, to be robust and to be to be solid and to resist everyday wear, but also to be simple to use. I mean, the Tourbillon is a Tourbillon, but I think if you look at our GMT Traveler and our annual calendar, they're simple to set. It's not involving little clickers and lots of different wheels and things to set the time and the date. It's all pretty straightforward.
It's very intuitive, Yeah. And I think I've noticed, as I was reading the technical specifications of the Grand Sport Tourbillon, I've noticed there is a fair difference between the diameter of the caliber. Obviously, caliber 61901. The diameter is something like 30 millimeters. I'm reading here, 31.60. Whereas the case size. And the case is obviously called cushion. It's funny enough, it's a cushion-shaped case. The case is 44. So the conception in itself is not just a case and a movement that have been mashed together, but you have obviously masterminded it in a way that it works under all circumstances. The movement is protected and is cushion protected.
Yeah, I think so, and I think also, when you listen to Christian and to Laurent speak, on purpose he didn't make a movement that's super thin, because it makes it more resistant if it's made a little bit thicker, and then our cases lend themselves well to that because they are this cushion shape, and I think maybe it links back to what you were saying previously, Johnny, in terms of we are in a very, very competitive sports market watch, but we do have this kind of cushion dome shape, sapphire and the bezel that follows on from the shape, which distinguishes a little bit from the classics, which are beautiful pieces, but the Royal Oaks and the Nautiluses and the Bulgaris that have this perfectly flat glass. We have this domed one, which is typical of all of our watches. So this is the square micro rotor, which is a little bit the predecessor to the Grand Sport Tourbillon, and then the Sport Auto. That was released this year.
Yeah, fantastic. And to try to give a bit of an insight to our audience today, and thank you everybody for listening to this. We are live from Geneva and from Ireland, from the UK, with Laurent Ferrier, the brand Laurent Ferrier, and Christian Ferrier, Laurent's son, is with us, together with Robert. From Robert, the head of sales for Laurent Ferrier. If you want to put any question in the feed down here, feel free. Johnny and I will try to pick up on some. If you have anything to ask, it will be our pleasure to do so. No. I like the first question is always the best. Yeah. Can I get a discount? Talk to Johnny.
Speak to Pietro.
The watch is absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much, everyone. One question and one information we could give. So we said, Johnny quite rightly said, 24 pieces limited edition. I was surprised. You announced that the first pieces would be already available at the beginning of 2023. But I know you've been working on this for a long time, so it doesn't come out of the blue. But I wanted to ask, are there more versions in the pipeline of the Grand Sport Tourbillon for the future?
The answer is yes, but we do. It's a line on presentation. So basically, in the years to come, in the next, it's over 5 years from now, and our product plan is not set in stone, so this might change. So please don't hold it against us if we come out with a new one in 3 years. But no, we have basically, for the next 4 or 5 years in the product plan, there is no more Grand Sport Tourbillon, but there is one after that. But yeah, our product plan is pretty full, but we have a lot of novelties coming out in the next 3 years. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a chess game, trying to figure out where to put all the different launches.
And before I ask about your current production capacity, because we are official retailers for Laurent Ferrier, we're lucky enough to be the official retailers for the UK. And Johnny and myself can witness of an incredible demand that we are having on the brand, and this is credit to your great work. So we're going to ask you about your current production capacity. But first, Johnny, if you want to read out the question that one of the questions that are appearing on the feed, we can probably give that service first.
Okay, well, that's Maviello, who has asked, is it possible to see the new rose gold on the wrist as yet? I'm not sure if either of you have one to hand, but I know that in the press pack there are some images of the watch on the wrist, and like it is the colours of the, you call it autumnal. It is absolutely beautiful, warming colours of rose gold, red gold, I beg your pardon, and that graduated chocolate coloured dial. And so you could answer the question: if is there one? Has one been produced yet for? Or is it?
Yeah.
In prototype?
Yeah, sure. So we have so the watches are shipped with 2 bracelets. So it's mounted onto the metal or the gold bracelet, and it's also shipped with a silicon or rubber silicon strap with a gold buckle. And so all of that comes with the watch when you purchase it. So we have 2 watches, one on each of the bracelets that are ready. But we have a launch event tonight in Geneva, so the watches have all been perfectly kind of polished up and are looking absolutely beautiful. And so unfortunately, our workshops upstairs have strictly forbid us from touching them before they're unveiled tonight in the flesh. So we don't have one with us right now. And
okay.
However, you will be in London soon enough. I hear.
So basically, I will be attending Watch Pro on the 11th, 12th of November. I'll try and persuade Christian to come. But yeah, and we'll have one there. We will have one with us.
Fantastic! It'd be great to see you there. Also, because we should probably discuss this privately, Rob. But I was going to propose you maybe a collector's night in those days as well in London with our own fellow collectors at the limited edition. So we'll discuss about that.
Yeah, let's have a chat. Okay, I think also you had a question, Pietro, about production.
About production capacity, exactly. Production capacity because I know last year you announced you had plans to steadily increase. Where are you at the moment?
So basically, we're at around 400 watches. So not exactly sure where we're going to land this year, but it'll be somewhere between 400 and 430 watches this year. So yeah, we say a steady increase. I mean, I think the steady increase is coming from here onwards. I mean, we went from 150 watches in 2020 to 290 last year to 400 and something this year. So then basically going forwards, we need to calm down a little bit, to make sure that we maintain the level of finishing and the level of quality. So our next step, we expect in 2023 that we'll be somewhere around 450. And in 2024, maybe 500, but yeah, that's kind of as far as we're aiming for the foreseeable future.
Well done, well done. And before I let Johnny read Edo Scotty's question, are you going to be in New York at Watch Time next week, Christian? We have a question from Ready Set Watch.
Next week? No, I will be because I will.
Oh no, yeah. So. Our brand presence, we are in Mexico City at the CR next week. We are in Singapore and Bangkok the week afterwards. Then we're in Watch Pro in London. Then we're at the Bahrain Jewelry Show, and then we're also at Time Crafters in New York, I believe. I'm not sure of the dates, but somewhere around that. Yeah.
It's amazing. I used to, as you know, I used to share the lifestyle that you guys are having at the moment, and I find it, when you spell it out one after the other one, it sounds as compelling as it probably is. But it must be great fun at the moment with how things are going for your brand. Johnny, there's another question next.
Edo Scotti has asked that recently he had seen a micro rotor with mother of pearl dial on the market, believing that this is a custom watch. What is the process for a custom Laurent Ferrier?
Okay, so basically, yeah, the watch we've seen it too. It is a unique piece. It's on the collected man. It's a unique piece. So quite special. So basically, what we request is we request that the people that are requesting a customized piece already be a Laurent Ferrier owner. We've had lots of requests for customized pieces, so we had to kind of put some kind of filters in place. Otherwise, we would just have more requests than we could handle. So we customized the micro rotor, the traveler, and the tourbillon. So they're the three models that we will customize. Then otherwise, it all depends on the on the request from the customer. The watch has to stay, in our design guidelines and our design ethics. We won't make anything and stick Laurent Ferrier on it. But basically, once we hear the wish and the brief from the customer, we do our best to accommodate it or propose an alternative that fits with our kind of brand philosophy.
It's like collaboration.
Yeah, it's collaboration, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great insights, Edo. I'm sure we answered your question quite extensively. And one question that comes very often with Laurent Ferrier, and maybe I can ask Christian, the sports auto, of course, the demand is enormous. We may guess, or we may try to guess, whether there will be more versions of the sports auto coming in the future. How is this collection going to develop?
I got me to answer. I've got to be careful what I say.
It's my fault. I know the interview is about the tourbillon, but I'm taking a chance to get some information.
Yeah. No, I mean, so basically, I mean, the wish of Christian and Laurent is that basically that we keep the sport auto, a fairly focused line. So really kind of our creative playground is the micro rotor, where we have lots of different colored dials, lots of different things. But with the sport auto, we don't want to have as many variations. We want to keep it more focused. So there is another one coming. So there's another one in the pipeline that should appear in the next couple of years. So the design is already quite advanced in terms of we've received prototypes and samples of the new color, which looks absolutely great. But there you go. Yeah, that's.
So it will be a new color. Yeah.
Rob, I have to say, I envy your position, your job, because you're a sales manager who is overseeing a portfolio of pretty much perpetually sold out watches that it must be one of the only sales managers where you actually have to say no more than you can say yes.
He's the best. He's the best at saying no. He's the best at saying no. You don't. You're not upset when you get a no from Rob. So
it's the way he says it.
Amazing empathy. Amazing empathy.
It's the way he says it.
As a sales guy, you never say no. You always say yes if. So.
Correct.
Wonderful.
There's a request on where to see Laurent Ferrier in France, and specifically the Grand Sport Tourbillon in France. Is it going to be traveling there anytime soon?
So basically, we have no exhibition planned in France. One has been bought by Monaco, so that's probably the closest place in France to see the watch.
Autrement, il faudra voyager à Londres, Mathieu, si jamais.
Voilà, exactement. Ou à Genève.
Voilà. Thank you very much. Yeah, this was great. I mean, I will have a million questions, but I know, and you told me how busy you were going to be today, so I don't want to take it for granted how big of a day it is for you today. So I want to thank you all. Johnny, I don't know if you have one last question for Christian or Robert, and then we can let them go. Probably, yeah. Johnny,
I do.
Your call.
Going back to the Grand Sport Tourbillon, golden brown, and the original. Most companies, when they manufacture a piece like this with a tourbillon, make a big deal out of this. Yet there is something, the Laurent Ferrier philosophy is that it conceals this technical expertise underneath the dial. Was that a consideration? Was there ever a time that Laurent Ferrier, Christian, you felt that we should put an opening on the dial for the tourbillon, or has it always been we put it rear side only for visibility?
Very good question.
On fait la version tourbillon ouvert.
Ouais, est-ce qu'on l'a fait et puis pourquoi est-ce que
Yes, with the classic case, we do a few two timepieces with the opening tourbillon version. Because it was a demand, we say no in the first time, but because this is not a conception, a great conception for the opening the tourbillon on the dial. But a few times after, just to play, I work on a version, and yes, we do a bridge, you know.
Yeah.
And the result was, yes, great. But you know, after that, some people say, yeah, because a lot of people talking about this kind of version, because the cage, the tourbillon cage, he want to see. But after see that, the work was good, great, thank you.
Yeah.
But the real Laurent Ferrier is the classic version, where you can see the tourbillon outside with all the caliber parts.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that, what you've done. I am happy. To me, I think it is a very confident thing to do, is to say, right, yes, it's called the Grand Sport Tourbillon. The first thing people look for is the tourbillon on the dial, and I love it. I just think it's and it's very much in keeping with the Laurent Ferrier, the integrity of the brand's philosophy of purity, aesthetic simplicity, yet technical and hand finished excellence.
Thank you.
Great.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And unless there is another last minute question coming from our audience that I would like to thank for sticking to us for many years now with our interviews, with our contents, digital contents that we love doing. And this appreciation pushes us really all the time to bring more and more. And today we were lucky and privileged to have Christian Ferrier and Robert Bailey from Laurent Ferrier, who have shared with us their passion on a launch day, which is something that doesn't happen every day. As I know, they will be really busy with answering with all the questions and interest that inevitably there will be around this Grand Sport Tourbillon. So thank you very much, everyone. This recording will be available on this channel, and we will share the link with Laurent Ferrier as well, so you will be able to see it on their channel or on our channel. And good luck with the launch, Christian, Robert. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be Laurent Ferrier's partner in the UK.
Thanks to you, Pietro. Thanks for everything. And see you all soon.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup et à très bientôt. Au revoir.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.